I thought I heard like an explosion, like a cannon. Hi, my name is Tara and I just want to share a little story with you guys about what happened during my literal first 4 days of living in a new country. I just moved to Argentina. I'll be living here for the next 2 years and I ended up going to the hospital my 4th night in Argentina. Backstory, I am on a campus of a Christian mission ministry location, and right now they're in the middle of summer camp. Last week when this happened was teen week, so teen campers, super cool. But last Tuesday night on February 5th, wait, 4th. Yes, on February 4th, Tuesday night at 9 p.m. was a thing called Mufa Pufa. And Mufa Pufa is like a big event. It's in the gym. They have like the different teams competing in different activities, like a bunch of different small activities that collectively are called Mufa Pufa. And the goal is to, you know, win them, get points for your team. So I was going just to observe to see how they do it. Myself, my friend Rosie, our friend Kayla and Katie, they were with us, and we have been standing outside the gym, and then we like just walked into the gym doors, just like in the corner of the building, right? In the gym on one wall is a bunch of bleachers, but before they hit the outside wall, there's like a tiny, I don't know, 4-foot gap or so. And so we were just kind of standing in that gappy area between the bleachers and the outside wall and the door. Mufa Pufa had literally just started. They were just introducing the teams, having them walk up, talking to the mic kind of thing. No activities have actually started yet. And then all of a sudden, I thought I heard like an explosion, like a cannon. So I was like, oh, that was really loud and scary, but maybe that's just part of the intro, like boom, and then they do something cool. But in retrospect, that sound was actually the sound of a giant metal pole, like a volleyball pole, to hold the net up that had fallen. The poles had been in that little gap between the bleachers and the wall, leaning against the back wall. Something or someone must have bumped it because one of them fell and it hit me directly in the back of my head and then fell to the floor. And that's what the loud noise was from it falling to the floor. Although, like in my mind, in my memories, I heard the noise and then I saw it hit the floor, but it couldn't have made the noise hitting my head, so I don't know. Anyway, scary noise. So I was like, oh my goodness, loud noise, right? And then I was like, oh, I feel pain. So I went to touch my head, and then warning, like, this isn't injury, so I'm gonna be talking about blood and different things. Anyway, I touched the back of my head and I look at it in the dim lighting of the gym and it's covered in blood. Like I just touched it, covered in blood. And I'm like, oh shoot, like I got hit, like something happened, right? And then I could feel blood like dripping down, like falling down on my shoulder, like my back, falling from my head. And then like the pain started coming, you know, because at first my body was just like in shock, or like, I don't know, figuring out like what was going on from the noise and everything and the impact of getting hit, and then the pain came. So then I had to pause the camera because one of the girls in my hallway, we share the same kitchen and bathroom, and she just knocked on the door and she brought torta frita. She made this for me and my roommate Rosie last week too, and it's really good. She said to add sugar or dulce de leche, because it's kind of like fried dough, so you can just like add something. It could end up being like a, I don't know, kind of like an elephant ear, but not. But I didn't have dulce de leche, so last week I put peanut butter on it and it was actually really quite good. Anyway, thank you, Susie. Yeah, those smell so good. Anyway, back to my story. Oh, so then I was like in pain. I'm like holding my head and stuff, and then Rosie like realized what happened, because everybody heard, like everyone in the whole gym heard the metal pole fell, but nobody realized that it hit somebody at first, or like that it was me and who it was. So then Rosie and then Kayla and Katie like came in or something, I don't know. Anyway, they helped me like walk outside, and we're trying to like assess like what's happening, and the blood is just like falling. And so thankfully like they had nurses there at the gym, you know, in case of injury, so they were quickly able to help us. And then somebody ran to get a wheelchair from the like medical center, which was actually like really close by to the gym, like one of the closest buildings. So they ran and got it, brought it back. They had me sit in the wheelchair, and then safely but quickly rolled me over to the medical center. But reminder, I'm in Argentina and I don't know that much Spanish yet, so everybody around me is like speaking Spanish, trying to like figure out what's going on, or saying like sweet things to me, like calmate or tranquila and stuff. But it's just like, it was a unique circumstance like the whole rest of the night too, because all the people helping me like were speaking in Spanish basically, except for the couple people who are bilingual. So my body then was in shock though. So I realized like in the wheelchair and then getting to the medical center, my legs were like shaking and my hands were like shaking. My head was throbbing. It hurt actually quite a lot. So much like pressure, like pain and stuff. And then we get to the medical center and went inside, and a doctor and a nurse started like applying pressure to the wound to help, you know, it stop bleeding, and then eventually like washing out with, I think like peroxide or not alcohol, but like one of those things, you know. So they're like pouring that, trying to clean it and just trying to like get the blood out and just blood to stop. So applying pressure and cleaning it and pressure and cleaning it, and then trying to see like what damage had been done to my head. My friend Rosie told me later that like on the floor of the medical center there was like a pool of my blood. Yay. It took them a while to do that, but also because my body was like in shock. I was like crying this whole time, you know. My body was like, emotion was to cry, which is so fair. I'm like telling myself that was fair. Then my roommate Rosie ran back to the room and got me a different t-shirt to change into, so they helped me do that because my current one was like soaked in blood. But they got me a new shirt, and then Rosie ran back to get my passport because we needed that for the hospital, or we weren't sure if we would need it for the hospital. And so the doctor and the nurse and the medical center here on campus, they were saying like, oh, I think like you're gonna need stitches and stuff for your head, like for my head. And so then they like wrapped and bandaged my head. They put an ice pack, so they even had to like wrap under my chin to help support it. It looked kind of like a helmet, or like I was a mummy, like from Egypt or something. So it was like so stupid looking, like so silly looking, but it did the job, so that's fine. And then car pulled up, went to the hospital and everything. But then in the car ride, I'm like freaking out kind of, because I started like kind of calm down a little bit, but then I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm in a different country, I'm gonna need stitches. I've like personally, I've never broken a bone, I've never been to the hospital, never had stitches, never had like the only surgery or anything I've had is like my wisdom teeth getting removed. So I'm just like, I don't have any experience with injuries and things like that, so I'm like, I'm gonna get stitches in Argentina in a hospital, like I just got here, what the heck. Thankfully at the hospital they were able to get me in quick to see a doctor and whatnot, but my body was still kind of shaking. And I wasn't crying, but I don't know, it was just like a mess and my head was hurting so bad. So at the hospital, the doctor, she unwrapped the bandage from my head and took a look at it, and she said that we didn't need stitches because it was like, it's like I had a large like impact, like an area of impact, but it was like a scrape kind of my flesh, so very surface level, but nothing was like one spot of like, nothing deep that would require being sewn together. So no stitches, and I hadn't had any symptoms of any like concussion sort. Like I hadn't lost consciousness, I hadn't been dizzy, I hadn't been nauseous or anything like that, or very like faint. So she was like, as long as you, like you say you haven't had any of those and whatnot, then I should be fine to sleep that night. So she cleaned my wound a little bit again, rewrapped it, just the top without the ice pack, and then they had a nurse come in and give me like a shot of like pain relief, pain medicine. So that's all that they did at the hospital, which I was still in pain, but then the medicine did kick in, so that was good. Yeah, no concussion, no stitches, nothing. It was actually like quite the miracle, quite the like God thing, because like I keep talking about different people who were there or heard about it, and were like, with what happened, the probability like of me, like it feels like, or like it should have been worse, right? I should have needed something, or I don't know. So I'm thankful. I guess I have a thick head and I have a good God. Well, I know I have a good God. So I'm just glad about that and very thankful. So then I went, instead of coming back to my like room, because it's kind of like, not quite a dorm room, but kind of like a dorm room on the campus, I stayed at my friend's house who lived in the town close to the hospital. And then my friend Kayla helped me wash out my hair because there was a lot of blood, and then like the hydrogen peroxide and stuff in my hair, so we washed out a lot of blood from my hair. Changed my shirt again because the second one also had blood, so I was in my third shirt for the night. And then about that time, like, because the incident was about maybe 9:10 p.m. like when I actually got hit, and then we got to her house maybe around 11, and then I went to bed. I got into bed maybe around 11:30, 11:40, and by that point the medicine had kicked in, so I wasn't, or had started to, so I wasn't really in pain anymore. I was just kind of like, well, tired, worn out, because A, that's late in the night, and B, everything had just happened. So yeah, she washed my hair, rewrapped my head, and then I went to bed. And then literally after that, like the next morning I woke up, and all the days since, now it's been a week. I'm filming this on Tuesday the, what, 12th? Yeah, no, 11th. Yeah, a week later. And I haven't had any pain since they gave, like, since the medicine kicked in last Tuesday night. So I'm so thankful for that. People keep asking me, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? How's your head? How are you? And I'm literally just like, I'm fine. Like, my head doesn't hurt. Well, I guess on Wednesday I had a little headache most of the day, but like very small headache, right? And other than that, I've been completely fine. The skin, I went the next couple days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, to the medical center here on campus to have them check my head, clean a little bit again, and rewrap it. So Wednesday and Thursday I was walking around everywhere with my head wrapped, kind of like a headband. Although I had the rest of my hair in a braid so that I wouldn't have to worry about it and it wouldn't get blood or anything going. So at some points it kind of looked like I was bald, lol. And some friends like saw a picture and they're like, did you lose your hair? I'm like, no shaving of my hair happened. So that was funny. Oh, actually, sorry, I'm backtracking. On Wednesday afternoon, we went back to the hospital, got an x-ray of my head to make sure everything was fine. Doctor said everything looked good. Nothing had happened internally with the x-ray and stuff from what she could see. So we're good, still no bad symptoms or anything. And then rewrapped my head Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday they checked it, cleaned it a little bit and said I was fine not to wrap it. So since then the blood has just like dried up, and it's just become like a scab over the wound injury area. So I don't know, I just keep wanting to touch it and like pick at it, but I know I can't, and I haven't. I have restrained. So right now I'm just chilling, waiting for the scab to eventually fall off, hopefully sooner rather than later, because I'm tired of it. It just feels weird, and when you do look at it, it looks gross. So that's my little story. 4 days into living in Argentina, and I went to the hospital. I had a lot of blood, got a shot of medicine, super good stuff. But literally other than that, my time here has been fabulous. So I'm not really complaining. I just wanted to share it and record it for my own memory's sake too. I guess I'll be staying away from volleyball poles and metal poles in general. We just keep making jokes about my head, or like, oh, did you forget that because you have amnesia? Or like, oh, watch out for that pole. And tonight they're doing Mufa Pufa again because it's camp still. It's younger kids this week, but they're still doing Mufa Pufa. And we're going. Like, I'm gonna go watch it. Because last week I was so bummed I didn't actually get to see Mufa Pufa because I went to the hospital. So this week I'll get to see it, but hopefully, Lord willing, no more hospital visits, no more injuries. So yeah, anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.